You ever catch yourself staring, just for a second? You're scrolling, walking, sitting at a red light, and there it is, someone attractive. And you look, not long, just enough. You think, it's nothing, I'm just looking. But something happens in that second. Something shifts. A thought forms. A seed gets planted. It's so small you almost miss it, but that's how it starts. That's how it always starts. Lust never kicks the door down. It waits for an invitation, a glance, a fantasy, a harmless habit you don't think twice about. And then, like a vine, it begins to wrap around your mind. It starts telling you things, feeding you illusions, feeding you lies. Before long, your thoughts aren't your own. You're distracted, you're daydreaming about someone that isn't yours, entertaining what God never gave permission for. And the worst part? You still think you're in control. You still think I've got this, but you don't. Because what entered as a glance has started to grow. And what grows eventually takes over. Lust doesn't look like a threat at first. That's what makes it dangerous. It feels natural, feels innocent, feels like every guy does this. But not every guy wins. In fact, most lose. And not just a little. They lose everything. You don't believe me? Look around. Look at the men who once stood tall, respected, admired, trusted. Look at the men who had families, ministries, purpose. Where are they now? You hear the stories. Another affair, another scandal, another divorce, another father who broke his home because he couldn't control his appetite. You think it won't happen to you, that you're stronger, but they thought that too. They thought it was under control, that no one would find out, that it wasn't that serious. But sin doesn't care how strong you are. It only needs a crack. And lust is patient. It waits. It builds. It weaves itself into your thoughts, then your actions, then your identity. And suddenly, the man you used to be, he's gone. The man your family needed, the man God called, he got replaced by someone else. Someone ruled by urges. Someone who can't say no. Someone who looks at what's not his and calls it deserved. Lust doesn't just take moments, it takes men, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but shame, regret, and a trail of destruction behind you. You think you're seeing clearly, but you're not. Lust clouds your vision, slowly, silently. It doesn't just affect what you see, it distorts how you see. You start looking at women like options, not daughters of God, like images, not individuals. You become so used to craving that you forget what real connection even looks like. You'll scroll past 100 faces and forget every one of them 5 minutes later, but something inside you still feels unsatisfied. That's not coincidence. That's what lust does. It makes you blind to value, blind to beauty that goes deeper than skin, blind to the one person who was meant to walk beside you for a lifetime. Because you've trained your heart to chase moments, not meaning. And the longer you stay in that mindset, the harder it becomes to actually love. Not pretend love, not lust disguised as affection. I mean real love, the kind that sacrifices, the kind that chooses, the kind that stays. Because love requires patience. It requires discipline. Lust wants shortcuts. It wants to feel without commitment, to touch without covenant. But love, real love, doesn't survive in a heart ruled by lust. They can't coexist. One will always kill the other. God didn't create women to be objects of your appetite. He didn't breathe life into her just for her to be reduced to a body. He made her with intention. She was designed to be a reflection of His nurturing spirit, a carrier of peace, a builder of homes, a warrior in prayer. She's not just a partner, she's a purpose. But when you're consumed by lust, you can't see any of that. You don't recognize the crown on her head. You don't feel the wisdom in her words. You don't respect the grace in her walk. You miss all of it because lust trains your eyes to see surface only, and surface never tells the full story. You start thinking you need someone prettier, someone more exciting, someone better, all while God's best is standing right in front of you. But you're too blind to see it. Lust is a trap that convinces you to trade a queen for a fantasy, to ignore the woman who would fight for you, raise your children, pray for your soul, just so you can chase an illusion that will never love you back. If you don't fix your vision, you'll ruin your future. Because when you see her the wrong way, you'll treat her the wrong way, and when you treat her wrong long enough, she'll walk away, and you'll wonder what happened. What happened is this: you let lust decide what you valued, and it always undervalues what God calls priceless. Lust is a master manipulator. It doesn't just tempt you, it convinces you. It tells you you're missing out, that there's always something more, something better, just around the corner. It makes you feel like what you have isn't enough, even when it's exactly what you prayed for. You could have a faithful wife, a peaceful home, a life filled with blessings, and lust will still whisper, but what if? It never shuts up. It never lets you rest, because lust is never satisfied. It's a hunger that grows with every bite. You think that next image will fulfill you, that next message will finally calm the craving, but it won't. It only feeds the fire. It deepens the pit. And while you're chasing these moments of pleasure, your soul is starving, your peace is leaking, your mind is breaking, because lust doesn't just attack your eyes, it devours your identity. It makes you forget who you are, whose you are, and what you were made for. And all the while, it's selling you a lie that love is boring, that discipline is weakness, that self-control is old-fashioned. But the truth is this: lust is what's weak. Lust is what's boring. Lust is what ruins everything good and holy and lasting. You think it's just about you, but it never is. Lust leaves casualties. You might sin in secret, but the damage will show in public. Your wife will feel it in your distance, in the way your eyes drift, in the way your love starts to fade without explanation. Your kids will feel it in your silence, your irritability, your absence even when you're in the room. Your family will feel the weight of your wandering heart, and they'll carry wounds they don't even understand. A man ruled by lust can't be present. He's always chasing something, always distracted, always halfway out the door in his mind. And when you live like that, you don't just fail morally, you fail relationally, you fail emotionally, spiritually, you fail your family, not just by what you do, but by what you don't do. You don't lead, you don't cover, you don't protect. A man who cannot guard his own eyes cannot guard his own house. And what's worse, the example you set. Your sons are watching. They see what you click, how you stare, what you prioritize. They learn from you. Your daughters are watching too, learning how men treat women, based on how you treat their mother. Lust doesn't just destroy moments, it destroys generations. It turns legacy into a cautionary tale. And when the dust settles, what do you really have? You thought lust would satisfy, that it would make you feel alive, powerful, free. But what it leaves behind is always the same: shame, guilt, regret. You look around and realize you've been chasing ghosts. You've been building your life on images that vanish the second you touch them. Your marriage crumbling, your peace gone, your integrity compromised. And suddenly, the man in the mirror is someone you don't even recognize anymore. That ache in your chest, that emptiness, it doesn't come from not having enough. It comes from trading what mattered for what didn't. You feel hollow because you let lust steal what was sacred. And deep down, you know it wasn't worth it. It never is. The moments that promised everything delivered nothing. And now you're left staring at the wreckage, wondering how it got this far. But the truth is, it didn't happen all at once. It was one small compromise at a time, one unchecked glance, one innocent habit, one lie you believed. Lust didn't just ruin your life, it convinced you to ruin it. That's the price. And now you have to decide if you'll keep paying it, or if you'll finally walk away. You want to kill lust? Starve it. It's that simple and that hard. You've been feeding it every day through what you watch, what you scroll, what you entertain when no one's looking. You've gotten used to keeping the fire alive, then wondering why it won't die. You say you want freedom, but you're still lighting matches. It's time to cut off the supply. Stop looking, stop lingering, stop clicking on content that keeps you trapped in the cycle. You don't have to fall for it anymore. That harmless post, that suggestive video, it's not just content, it's bait. And every time you take it, it pulls you deeper. It's designed to keep your eyes locked, your heart numb, your spirit chained. But you have the power to say no, to unfollow, to delete, to hit not interested, to protect your peace instead of feeding your problem. When you stop reacting, you start healing. When you stop giving your energy to temptation, you reclaim your strength. Starving lust isn't about legalism, it's about freedom, because you'll never be free from what you keep feeding. But starving it isn't enough. You can't just remove the poison, you've got to replace it with something pure. You need to feed your faith. Your heart's going to consume something, so give it truth. Open your Bible. Listen to sermons that convict and restore. Surround yourself with voices that lift your eyes toward God, not drag your soul back to the pit. Because what you consume shapes what you crave. Garbage in, garbage out. But when you fill your life with righteousness, you stop craving the counterfeit. You start to see clearly. You start to feel alive in ways lust could never provide. It's like clearing out a room full of smoke. Suddenly the air is clean, and you realize how toxic it really was before. The more you fill yourself with God, the more you'll hate the sin that tried to destroy you. You won't just avoid lust, you'll despise it for the peace it stole, the relationships it fractured, the distance it created between you and your Creator. Feed your spirit until it's stronger than your flesh, because if you don't fill your heart with light, darkness will always find its way back in. Then, once you've starved lust and fed your faith, it's time to move. Time to stop sitting in the same room, doing the same things, wondering why nothing's changing. The truth is, a lot of men struggle with lust, not because they're monsters, but because they're bored, aimless, empty. You've got too much idle time and not enough direction. And when you're not chasing purpose, you'll chase pleasure. That's just how it works. But when you start living on mission, when you get up, take responsibility, and pour yourself into what God's called you to build, everything changes. You don't have time to lust when you're focused on legacy. When your hands are busy building something meaningful, you won't want to destroy it for a moment of weakness. Go to the gym, learn a skill, serve your community, mentor someone. Pursue the dreams God placed in you before lust ever had a grip on your mind. A man who knows where he's going doesn't get distracted by detours. You'll start seeing the world differently. You won't be drawn to cheap pleasure because your eyes will be locked on something greater. You won't just say no to lust. You'll stop wanting it because you'll realize what it was costing you all along. Your clarity, your strength, your destiny. And once you taste real purpose, you'll never settle for poison again.